Hello, guys, and welcome to episode 1 of Coast to Cast, which is the ultimate theme park podcast. And today I'm joined by Theme Park Tinkerboo.
Hello.
And we're going to be talking about Pleasure Island.
Hello everyone. My name's Alfie. I collect theme park things,
There's going to
specifically
be
from a little place in Cleethorpes.
called Pleasure Island.
Yeah, called Pleasure Island. So what kind of things do you want to know then?
So I thought we could talk about the recent poll which you've done on Facebook.
Right. So the recent poll, I've been planning this for ages now, but I haven't been properly planning it. Just planning on when I was going to start it. But we've been talking to a company that have some rides from Pleasure Island, and we're interested in buying one and putting it in Cleethorpes for everybody to enjoy.
So what company is that?
Their name's amusementrides.com. They'll only message you back if you're being very serious, like I was, because this is serious. I had to have a serious conversation with them about it. They were just talking to me, and they gave me the details on how much one of the rides costs, which was the Hyper Blaster, and we're still talking to them now about the other ride.
Yeah. So if you pot it in Cleethorpes, then whereabouts are you gonna pot it?
Honestly, we're not sure at the moment. A lot of people said you should put it on the original land, not where it was exactly.
You probably won't be able to do that because of the buyer.
We're not allowed to do it there simply because the buyer, basically the person that's bought it. We don't know the company name or anything, but they won't want it. They'll want the whole land that they get. They won't want anybody else being on there. They won't want to sell it all off. They bought it for a reason. But yeah, it'll be somewhere. We're hoping somewhere near Scoop's Ice Scream, which is near the fun fair part of the beach.
Is that the shop which has all the stuff out of the Tinkerboo ride?
No, that's Twinkles. Twinkles is a fancy dress shop. This was the middle of Cleethorpes.
Oh, so
yeah,
maybe you could put us on. Have they got at Cleethorpes? Have they got like a what's it called? Like a decking thing? You know what I'm about, don't you? What's they called?
A decking. Oh yeah, they've got a pier.
Yeah, a pier.
It would be brilliant to put it on a pier, but I'm not sure that I would even be allowed to put it on that pier due to the people that own it. But I think if I spoke to them, they may say yes.
Do they have rides in there already?
They tried with a carousel. They wanted the carousel, which is more reasonable, in my opinion, to go on that pier because the pier is not massive.
Oh, they've got that. All them rides on the beach. They have that roller coaster on stilts. Maybe you could possibly put it near there.
Yeah, that was an idea to start with, to kind of do a merger with them. But I don't think they'll want to either. It doesn't bring any. They'll probably want money for the space that you're using because they own that bit. Well, they don't own the land. They rent that bit of land out. They probably want money for it. Which again, it's better to just do a one-off payment for the land and that's it.
I think that if you was to do it there, then it'd be easier with a Hyper Blaster because it's more small.
Yeah, the Hyper Blaster is the easiest way to go. Not the cheapest by any way standards, because the ride's running cost. I've spoken to the old staff. They said the running cost for that ride is very high. But if you run it right and you look after it, it shouldn't be as much as what the park were paying. It's mainly down to they have a massive metal cable that pulls the cart up. That's what it uses with the air and everything.
Yeah.
And that has to be replaced every year. It's the same as like a bungee jump ride when you get shot, a slingshot ride. So when you get slung up into the air, it just wears out over time.
Yeah, maybe you could replace it with a magnetic system, like what they have in Magma.
Sadly, it would probably be too much to do that. It'd probably be cheaper to just buy a new ride completely. So, and also we want to keep everything. If we do buy one of these rides, there's not going to be any new side to it. It's going to be completely as it was at the park. Nothing new to it at all, apart from both rides would either. either ride would have signs up talking about the history of the ride.
Yeah. Because don't you already have the Hyper Blaster measurement sign to see how tall you are and if you can ride?
We are getting the original Hyper Blaster sign. It's not the measurement one. I might be getting that as well, but I can't really tell which. That one's a yellow one. But we're getting the original Hyper Blaster entrance sign, which is what gives all the safety information and everything like that.
Yeah.
So it's less of a liability. The park, that's been sold to me by somebody who sold me a toffee head as well.
Yeah. You're selling a toffee head, aren't you?
Yeah. One of the toffee heads is going, but that's to pay for these signs and loads more stuff that I think is, in my opinion, I just want the toffee head gone so I can kind of invest more in signs and things like that.
Because how much did that toffee head go for?
The original one went for £750. That was the most expensive one that's been.
Is that how much you're selling it for?
No, it's selling for a lot less, but I didn't have to pay for that one. But I can't explain why I didn't have to pay for that.
Yeah.
But I'm selling it now, and that's the end of it, really.
Yeah, because I was thinking maybe you could have put some of that money towards, just kept it for the ride, for if you ever need to buy replacement parts and stuff like that for the ride which you buy.
Yeah, that money will be mine though, so it will be going straight into the archive. It will be going into the archive. It's just I will be spending it straight away. I've organised a lot of things that I'm buying already, and I've spent up all the money, and I've got to get another extra 100 as well. Well, I did have to.
Yeah.
So I mean that money wouldn't really do much for that ride anyway. It wouldn't help out much because it's going to cost more than that for any repairs apart from paint maybe.
Yeah,
but
it would probably need cleaning as well and stuff like that because obviously it hasn't been used since 2016, so it will have to have some replacement parts and stuff like that.
It's already had the work done to it. It just needs what it needs now is a new lick of paint and just a good clean. That's all it needs. It's in perfect. All of the rides they have are in perfect working order.
Yeah, I did actually. I know I asked you what company that was for because I remember ages ago I was looking at rides on websites and I saw that on there, but I thought that by now it would have been sold.
It takes a long time for things like that to go, and I mean they've said they haven't had much interest in it. It just depends really what kind of ride it is and the price as well for it because the people buying them most of them have to watch their money because they're not this massive gigantic theme park. They're just somewhere small that wants a second-hand ride that's a good investment for the park, and they can make it look like it's brand new.
Yeah.
Because with rides, they don't really show their age unless they've been at the same place for a while, which is good.
It is good.
Yeah. There's a lot of things going on. There's that's the main thing really that I'm doing at the moment. But we've only just started with that again. I mean, there was conversations about it a year ago, and I've been going on and on and on about it, and now it's finally starting to come together. Just a little bit, nothing major.
Yeah.
What we are hoping. I mean, obviously, the original idea was to have it crowdfunded by the people in Cleethorpes and people online, but I decided, and I spoke to a load of people about it, that was the wrong way of going about it. That may be part of it. That may be part of the advertisement campaign, because I'm going to have to do an advertisement campaign for this.
I could help you on some of the advertising if you like.
Yeah, it's we're going to have to not sadly, sorry, but we're going to have to keep going. Obviously, it's going to take a long time, but we are thinking of maybe going for an investor instead. Somebody who's got a lot of money that can just give us the money for it, and then once we can slowly pay them back, and they'll earn their money back.
Or maybe get a loan.
Yeah, that's another thing as well. We've spoken, we could speak to a bank and get a loan, but the amount of money that we need to loan is too much money for it to pay back in terms of a loan, because then you have to pay back double. And the idea is that we're going to have to make money, because after doing this will be my job. when it happens, and I'll
Yeah.
obviously have to pay myself a wage, as well as I have to pay whoever is working for us a wage, as well as I'll have to pay the. I'll have to pay off if it's a loan, I'll have to pay off the money for the loan, which is the worst part because it'll be double. It could be double if you go with the wrong person.
But surely you'd still have to pay interest if it was
Sorry?
if it was an investor, then you would still have to pay interest, surely.
Not necessarily, but they would. It works differently because they would just take the money as it comes. They wouldn't want the full payment at one time.
Yeah.
Because with a loan, they kind of want you to pay it all at once and then pay your thingy after. And with a loan, it tends to be more. Whereas an investor just wants to make a little bit of money. He's got a lot of money already, or he or she, and they just want something to do, really. And if it doesn't work, they've got to make it work. But yeah, they work. They'll help with an investor. They will also help you out with the actual building of some. If it's a company, they'll help you build your company because they've obviously had a company before as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
if you're gonna build one of these rides back up again, you will have to. There is lots more factors to it as well, isn't there? So it's like it isn't just the ride itself.
Yeah.
There's land and stuff like that. And
yeah, the land is the worst part of it, really, but it could be overcome. We want the council to help out with that because it's their fault that the park it's partly their fault that the park closed.
Why?
So, well, they hadn't helped the park out when Melanie, the owner, I've spoken to her on Facebook. She had told me about how, well, she's told a lot of people now, but she told people on the news as well. It's their fault because she was asking for help financially and to advertise and things like that and maybe bring a new ride in, and they refused that help, which didn't help them. And then they went playing the sad card when it turned around and said, "Oh, it's closing." They were shocked. So it was their fault partly, not fully, but they're partly to blame.
Yeah, but the council do kind of have. I'm not saying that spending their money on Pleasure Island would be bad, but they do have more major things to spend their money on than rides, don't they?
See, yeah, people say that, but whenever she was asking for financial help, she would say she would pay it back. Even if she got the money, they would have got the money plus a little bit more back, just to keep. But they don't. That's not the idea. If you've got that, then and you're the council, you should help them. Because if it's bringing more people into that area, you should do it. Because they're going to get money from it anyway. Because they're going to have people coming in, driving there, which brings more business to that area. And that's why they should have done it. Because they would have made money either way. Even if she hadn't paid it back. But she would have. That would have been legally wrong if she hadn't. But if she was given money by them, she would have been able to keep it going. As well as, the council would have got a bit of extra money for it, because some people do deliberately move to places just so they can go to a certain place, like Pleasure Island. I would have quite gladly moved to Cleethorpes, and that does bring money into the council because they get the taxes, they get everything, and the more people there, the more money they get.
Yeah, but it would take quite a bit of time for them to get the money back, so I think that you probably would have preferred to. Actually, saying that, I think it was on one of the BBC channels. I think it might have been on the One Show where Melanie was talking about how she's annoyed that banks are loaning out money to newer businesses
and not her, and not older businesses that are established, which are struggling. Yeah, she had mentioned about that. That's partly what I was on about. It did really upset her. She grew up at that park. That was her dad's creation, if you'd like to put it that way. She put it that way.
It kind of was, because wasn't it originally it got started by Pleasurewood Hills, and then they went into administration and they sold
it. They started it, but Flamingo Land completely redesigned the place. They not layout wise, just in terms of not what was going in terms of the theming. Because Pleasure Island, if you ever visited, from the photos, it doesn't do it justice, because it did have an awful lot of theming back in the day. That was slowly removed because they couldn't afford to keep it up and looking nice, which is why they repainted all the buildings. But I've got photos of the buildings. In 1997, they went over all the buildings and they actually added tons of theming, which was slowly lost because it was falling to bits. So they put it in the back and binned it.
Yeah, but with their theming situation, nowadays, if a park's going to survive, then they do need to create a atmosphere. And I'm not saying that Pleasure Island didn't do that, but they kind of wasn't at the standards that theme parks are now setting in this day and age.
Definitely not. They're not, because the problem is that theming had been there since 1993.
Yeah.
That was one of the last things put in, and it was built by hand. Don't get me wrong, it is very nice, and it has a nice feel to it, but it's just not. It's not meant to be. Pleasure Island wasn't designed to be this. It wasn't meant to be something like Disneyland. It's meant to, because they wanted to stray away from that idea, because certain people, including me, I don't really like the idea of Disneyland because it's putting a lot of businesses at risk, and it's putting a lot of people. All the other companies haven't got the money to live up to that standard.
Yeah, but for example, with Alton Towers, I know that they're Merlin, part of the Merlin PLC, but for example, with Alton Towers, they are constantly potting new rides and new additions and new theming. And I watched one of your videos ages ago about what was the ride called that they added in last year? I've forgotten what it's called now.
Oh, right. Yeah, there's a story behind this. In 2015, they added a ride called Voltar.
Yeah.
It came from Flamingo Land. They did a really nice job at redoing it. It looked brand new. They completely replaced certain parts of it. They had it round the back for quite a while. But the problem is that the fuse box completely just literally nearly blew up, and they couldn't afford to replace it. But the ride was made out to be a £225,000 investment. Yeah, it was about. Well, it wasn't that much of an investment. It was about. I think they said it was instead of £250,000, it was about £40,000. So a lot off. But
why would they lie about that for?
Well, we're not sure, to be honest, but the staff have always said to me that it never cost them that much. It wouldn't have cost them that much, and I didn't really think it would cost them that much because it came from Flamingo Land. But
yeah, but thinking about it, Flamingo Land, since Melanie took over, and obviously since Shriksville stuff, which was amazing, by the way, Pleasure Island and Flamingo Land, as on from then, were separate companies.
Not necessarily. They were still family, and if they're family, they were still giving the park many. Apparently, from what I was told, a lot of stuff was just given to them.
I've also been told. I've been told that apparently, the owner of Flamingo Land, who is Melanie's brother, I believe, did not like Pleasure Island, so that's why he gave it to Melanie.
He didn't want to run two theme parks. It was too much for him. It wasn't the fact that he didn't like it. It was just the fact that he didn't want to run it.
Yeah.
And well, it was mainly because there was rumours as well. Pleasure Island could have closed in 2010 for good when they were swapping over. But the problem is with Shriksville, there's a big controversy around this that I'm not really meant to talk about, but I will do.
Yeah.
Shriksville was paid for by Flamingo Land.
Yeah, you told me about that when we was actually discussing about this podcast the other week, didn't you? Yeah.
Shriksville was meant to be paid for by Pleasure Island. Melanie I think she may have put a little bit of her money in, but she had just bought a theme park for herself, so she couldn't really afford it. So Flamingo Land kept paying Studios East. and it was just it was a massive tax dodge.
Yeah,
They
'cause
dodged a
they
lot of
gifted it to
taxes.
them, apparently. Didn't they?
Sorry?
Didn't they apparently gift it to them?
Yeah, basically, as a family member, it was a inverted commas gift.
Yeah.
But I'm not bothered that that's not really a problem to me that they did that. It's a problem to the law, but
Well,
yeah.
if it is a
and
gift,
they can't get in trouble for it now.
If it was a gift, then they can't really get into too much trouble for that. No.
Mm. But yeah, they kept paying for it. Obviously, they opened it up, and I think Melanie was the one that bought this, but she bought a little skiing rink, like an ice skating rink. One of the penguins from that was sold in the auction. That's actually been bought, and that's going in that new theme park in Sheffield.
Is it?
Yeah.
So what's going on with Melanie now then? Is she back at Flamingo Land working for them or anything like that?
Melanie and the owner of Flamingo, they fell out. They had a fallout apparently, and ever since then they haven't. Well, they've stuck up for each other still. They're still family, but that was kind of why the park split up. But ever since that happened, she used to do all the advertisements for Flamingo Land. She stopped. She used to live at Flamingo Land apparently, but she stopped doing that. And she moved completely. She lives. I can't remember where she lives, but she runs a few other things. She has a farm.
Does she?
But she wants to stay away from Pleasure Island as much as possible now, from what I know.
Yeah.
She doesn't go down as often. I think she's been down twice in the past year, from what the staff have told me.
Yeah.
And Neil is down there quite a lot still. Neil, the manager, because he's trying to.
Yeah,
he's still selling things and getting rid of things.
Neil, he started off at Flamingo Land, didn't he?
He started off at Flamingo Land. Yes, he started off as a ride operator, believe it or not, and just worked his way up. He was very nice. From every time I've seen him, he seems like a very switched on person, but he also had a dark side to him.
What do you mean?
He was very bossy. He was caught shouting at an old woman because she had asked when the Hyper Blaster was going to reopen. And she said, "Does it look like it's open? Does it look like it's going to open?" Shouting at her. He was having a really bad day.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that to a guest if you want them to return, but when you are having a bad day, sometimes you don't think about what you're doing.
He's not. He could have got fired for that, but I think he got a warning. But he used to. All the staff have told me that I should rename the toffee head before he goes because they don't like the fact that I've named him Neil after their manager, because he was such a bad. He didn't treat people nicely. He didn't treat the staff nicely, apparently, and I do believe them.
I've seen that video on YouTube, the kind of documentary-esque video where he's in it and he's talking about how they set it up, and I've seen him being all friendly with staff and stuff like that, and he seemed very.
I've spoken to the people that made that. It's Grimsby Institute. They have a TV station.
Yeah.
And they made that, and they said, I mean, they didn't really comment on him. There was no. I didn't really talk to them much about it because I didn't have time. But yeah, I've been talking to a lot of companies recently that were involved with the park, and they've all said they really do love the park, and everybody's waiting for me to do something now big instead of just buying little bits. They want me to buy one of these rides and put it in Cleethorpes. I mean, I'll obviously be doing. I know how to advertise on Facebook and things like that.
Yeah.
I'll carry on with it. It's not going to be me going, "Oh, I've got to do the ride now," so I'm not talking to any of you lot on Facebook or anything anymore, just for a little while, because that's not how I'm going to do it.
No.
It'll be very media. If it goes in, and if it does happen, I will be doing posts daily about the construction of it. And I'll say, "Oh, it's testing today. Come and have a look now." come down and see the Hyperblaster operating for the first time ever since 2016.
Maybe you could perhaps add some theming to the ride. And I know that you said that you want to keep it in an original state, but maybe that could draw people who, like, I know the ride itself would draw people in from who love the theme park and enthusiasts, but maybe if you were to add some theming and make it more modern, then it would also attract some of the general public as well and gain you more money.
The only theming I would consider building, if the ride was popular, would be the same-esque style buildings as the Morocco area for either the Hyperblaster or for the Alakazam. It's not Alakazam, sorry. For the Hydromax. Because that's the area they were in, and it would be fitting to have the same company come in and do it as well and design it for me. Because they still operate, but...
What company is that?
Imagination Design. Because I've got a load of designs from the park now. We've got loads. There's absolutely loads of them. We've got, I think it's about 12, but there's about nearly 100 sheets of designs. And...
That's a lot.
Well, not nearly 100. Not nearly 100, but we've got a lot, basically.
Yeah.
And it's one of my major things now. It's something that I'm really proud of because I never thought I would have much to do with the park like this because I didn't bid on any of it when it was the auction.
I remember watching your live stream of the auction.
Yeah, because the auction was... the first auction, I keep that up for the one reason it's historic. But I don't like the fact... you can hear me talking through it. It's not the best quality, but it's just there because people like... That's really popular still.
Yeah, I was watching that live stream live when you was doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a very popular... That's probably one of the most popular live streams I ever did. And there was about 100 people watching at one point, I think.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah. I don't just specify insert. I have a few specialties in the archive with certain things. One being designs, which is the most recent one.
Yeah.
We also specialise in the merchandise from the park, the staff uniform, the maps, all the staff items and things like that, and then signage and the Tinkerbell items. So it's kind of a bit of everything, but we do specify... we have specialist stuff. And, I mean, the staff uniform, we're about to have a massive expansion with that. A massive expansion with new trousers, all these things that the park would never, ever have let go of.
Why wouldn't they have let go of them if they closed?
Well, I'm on about if it was still, they wouldn't just let it go to the public back then, because I'm on about this uniform that we're getting is old, and I mean very old. It's got, it's all used obviously because you won't find any new stuff like that now, but it is really nice.
Are you gonna? Wear it? Are you?
Sorry.
Are you gonna be wearing it?
No, I have the stuff I wear. I had a cap, but I sold it.
Do you only wear the new stuff then?
Yeah. Well, at the moment, I've got quite a few bits of the old stuff, and it's all new because it was what was left. But I've got what I wear is a staff t-shirt, a staff coat. That's all I wear because I've got double of those, and I bought those specifically for myself to wear in public whenever I'm doing something Pleasure Island related. And then I've got cat. We've got a cat that we actually found in the ride system for the Tinkerbell ride.
Yeah,
the last
I remember seeing that on your YouTube channel, I think.
Yeah, I absolutely love that cat. I'm getting another one. As well as have you ever seen the photo of the one that was sat in Shrieksville?
I was just thinking about that because it's shown it on the Theme Park Worldwide vlog, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting that one. Hopefully, fingers crossed, because Carl Vince has got it. Who's the auctioneer? And last time I was talking to him, he said, "If I find it, you can have it." I would absolutely love to. I would die to have that because it was used in the advertisements of all the kids.
Yeah.
Next to Billy Bob and everything. They all
Billy Bob, that's from the Rockfire explosion, isn't it?
Yeah, the park had 2 different shows from that.
Did they? How come
Yeah.
they got rid of it then?
They got rid of it. They got rid of all of it in 2005.
Where was it located? Was it inside of one of the restaurants or something like that? Maybe.
It was located once. I can't say at the moment because we're still looking into that and we're waiting for footage to come out. But one was in there where the Tinkerboo show was. They were also where Tinkerboo Town was apparently at some point.
Was there two different copies of the Rockfire explosion at Pleasure Island?
There was an original Rockafire there for a bit, and
Yeah.
then they changed it to the new Rockafire.
Oh.
From what we know, but it may be that they had both at one point and then they got rid of one and they got rid of the other one.
Yeah, because I think that there's only about 1 or 2 Rockfire explosions that are now operating in the world.
Yeah, there's not many.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert in that. I had a friend that was an expert in that, really, but I mean, I'm not talking to him anymore because he caused many problems for me. So
I used to I know quite a lot about the Rockfire explosion from because I'd done quite a bit of research on it a couple of years back now.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Before Pleasure Island, I was obsessed with it. I used to sit up in my... Because I used to be up in the loft before the auction happened.
Mm.
And I used to sit up there watching the videos all day. Because that was what I originally was interested in. But I find that to be quite childish looking now. It's just not as interesting because I kind of figured out everything about it and just wanted to move on to something else. And I'm glad I did because I moved on to theme parks and I was obsessed with Alton Towers for a bit. And then I got completely... I still do, but I absolutely love the Smiler. It is. I just find it such a brilliant ride. The theming's not absolutely amazing, but even my uncle, when we went to Alton Towers, you probably saw the vlog a few months back now. He took one look at it and said, "We've come so far." And you look at something like that and you think, whatever's going to be next, because it just looks. It's so. Even though it's like
visually impressive, isn't it?
Even though it's 5 years old, it just looks
stunning.
Really, yeah. Like it's like if you get into America and you saw the massive roller coasters. He's been there and I haven't, and he even said to me, "That is absolutely amazing." And he went on it and he absolutely loved it. He just said to me, he just looked at me and smiled at me and went, "That is absolutely amazing. I can see why you like it now."
Is it your favourite Gerstlauer?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh.
Well, I keep saying Nemesis, and I can't choose between those 3. But when I'm in a good mood, I always say the Smiler, just for the ride of it. And honestly, I know it's quite controversial me saying this, but the crash added more to it. For some people, everybody who I've taken to Alton Towers has always said to me, that was more scary because when we went, I know where the crash happened, and when we went past that, I had a feeling of dread. And they said that was better, apparently.
I kind of see where you're coming from, and obviously that is quite a controversial opinion.
Yeah, I don't feel that. I don't feel that, but I don't think it made anything different about the ride. I think. I do think that
it definitely would make it feel more scary for the people who are queuing up, because they will obviously be thinking about that. But at the end of the day, it is a very safe ride. And it.
Oh yeah.
And thing like that could happen on any ride. It could have happened on Boomerang at Pleasure Island, couldn't it, or anything?
Well, not the Boomerang because that's only got one cart, but it could.
Oh yeah.
A funny story. Now you brought that up.
An accident could have happened on it. Yeah.
Yeah. The Boomerang actually had some problems when they first put it in. There had been a language gap between Vekoma and the people at the park. They had sent the Boomerang up the lift hill for the first test run, and all the wheels dropped off.
What happened to the car?
All the wheels dropped off the car. And then there was also another accident in 2016 where a braking system at the bottom of the second lift hill broke as it went through, and the cart got stuck there, and it just came to a sudden jolting halt. and they couldn't operate the ride until they closed. And then they got, obviously they fixed it because they knew they'll get more money for it if they fixed it.
Yeah, but it was the last operating year, so it kind of baffles me why they would spend lots of money on getting that ride back up and running.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because they knew they didn't know until the end of the season that the park was going to close, because they had a pretty good. It was just rubbish that whole season, and they kind of. Melanie obviously made the decision in September. They were only open for a couple, maybe I think it was a week's worth of days up until October, and then when it opened, because in September it broke in August. They fixed it in September, I think it was. And when they fixed it, it was kind of just so they knew they could get the money back for it, because they knew they were going to get the money back for it, and they wanted. It's kind of they kind of done it in respect as well, because you couldn't just have. If people had come on the closing night, they would have been outraged because it was closed.
Yeah, and
they probably would have ended up having to open again once they had fixed it, just so people could have a final ride.
And there's probably one. They would have wanted Pleasure Island to go out with a bang, literally fireworks, you know.
Yeah, it was that night. Whenever I watch the footage, I always get emotional. I can remember it crystal clear. I can remember what ride I did. I only got on Tinkerboo twice because it was so busy. There was 5,500 people there that night, and I actually wore for 2 years. I wore the band that I'd been given. I wore it around my wrist for 2 years. It's the purple band that I bought. It was £11. The rider band, and I wore that for 2 years up until somebody ripped it off my arm, and then I put it in my bag. I put it on a different band that was also to do with Pleasure Island. I wore that for a month, and then I put it in my bag, and that bag went into the charity shop, and now whoever got that has got that bag.
Oh. Could you not go back and say, I left something in my bag?
Yeah. Well, no, it was my mum that put it in there, and I just realised it a week after I had sent it away. Oh, I was just like astounded by that, because I was upset about it, because I've been wearing it for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
I'm way too attached to it, to be honest. Way too attached. But it's not just for me, though. I mean, some people do think I just buy all this stuff just for me, but it's kind of, if anybody says, can I come over and look, I'm never going to say no, apart from one or two people that I know who will just try and nick something, or don't necessarily want to come over to see it. They want to come over to take the picture.
Yeah.
There's yeah, I mean, recently, have you ever watched the British Dark Ride Archives videos?
I have.
He did a video on the Tinkerboo ride, showing it in 2001, and then the transformation in 2002. I've actually got that footage. It's 50 minutes long, the full footage.
Yeah.
He sent it to me because he knew he could trust me. He's actually coming over and doing some filming at the archive in August, on the 21st.
Oh yeah. You know, you done the news videos on BBC.
The which one? Oh, the news. Yeah. Those.
How did you get on there then?
How did I get on there? Well, they said when they came over, it would have usually cost anybody money unless it's a heart-warming story like mine. It had a good. They came because they were intrigued by the story behind it, and there was all this stuff about the toffee head. It got bought for me, but all this, and I didn't win it for the first auction. I was really upset about it, but then I went ahead and I made myself buy everything, and it was just. They kind of. I messaged. The story goes. I messaged Grimsby Live. It'll have been a year ago now, I think.
Mm.
And in Christmas, they messaged back and said, "We absolutely love your story. We've seen your Facebook page. We want to come and do some filming." I said to my mum, "They're going to come and do some filming. Please be out of the house so it's quiet." Obviously, it wasn't, but they came in, And then after Grimsby Live, next day, I had a message from Grimsby Live saying somebody from ITV News wants to talk to you. And then I got a call from them. We spoke for about half an hour, and they said they were going to come over. I had to get my mum's permission and stuff like that. And then the next day, I had a message from BBC Humberside. They wanted to come down. Then I had a message from BBC Humberside Radio, and then I
So
had
you
a
was on the
message,
radio?
and then I got a call from. Sorry.
You was on the radio?
Yeah, I've been on, and then, I also got a call from what's it called? Compass FM, which is a Grimsby radio station.
Yeah.
They keep playing my story nearly once every month because people love it so much. And when it was the 26th anniversary and all the radio stations talking about it, I was the main conversation in that, which I felt quite nice. They brought it back and they brought up the audio. But, yeah, and then obviously the last one, I think it was the last one. No, the last one was the Compass FM one. The second to last one was probably the best one. Not in terms of the filming, just in terms of the size and the amount of stuff it brought to me. I got put on BBC Look North, which was massive for me, and my whole family, not with me, my mum, me and my sister watched it and my brother watched it on our TV at home. We've got a massive TV downstairs.
Yeah.
It's the only expensive thing we really own, apart from me, obviously. But
yeah,
we all sat down, and then I got a call from my grandma and my uncle, and it turns out all the family had gone over to have a party at my uncle's house to watch it, and they all sat down at the TV, and I told them it's going to be on in 5 minutes. And it was on in 5 minutes, and it was absolutely brilliant. And they all just sat down, and then I got about 50 messages online, some from family members saying well done and things like that, and then some from people that had just seen it online and were thanking. I've had quite a lot of messages just saying thank you for doing it, which was really nice. Obviously, that's all died down now, but I mean, I've grown loads on Facebook's a lot more popular for me, really, because it's been a year, and I've gotten 200 and something subscribers, which is, it's not subscribers, but likes and follows, which is absolutely brilliant. And it should be at 300. I'm hoping 300 by the end of this year.
Are you? That's a lot.
Yeah, it is. And Facebook groups only usually have about 100, and I've completely smashed that.
Yeah,
and it's just been. I always say to people, I used to be very. Everything that I did was quite. Apart from YouTube, on Facebook I do it very professionally.
Yeah.
If anybody it's all done professionally on there and nicely, and it looks nice. Whereas on YouTube, it's always just been everything that I want to upload, because I don't want it to be restrained down on there.
Yeah.
But I do use it to upload archive footage and things like that, because then it's basically used for storage of footage to do with Pleasure Island, and then anything that I want to upload, like a vlog or something like that.
Yeah, it's
sorry.
Well, with YouTube, it's quite hard. It's quite hard nowadays to get subscribers on YouTube and stuff like that. Due to how many channels there are and stuff like that, and how many creators that people already watch, and it's just gotten really hard now, like in the last couple of years, to gain subscribers over on YouTube.
Yeah, it definitely has. I haven't really suffered from anything in terms of. The only thing I got caught up with was the bloody live stream thing, where you have to be at 1,000 subscribers to live stream. But
yeah,
everything else.
There's ways to get around that, though, isn't there? Sorry? There's ways to get around that anyway, really, with that issue.
There is. Yeah. But that was the only thing, because it messes me about now whenever I'm doing it, but I'm not too bothered about that.
No.
I'm honestly, to be honest with you, it's my YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, not really, but my Facebook and everything, they are completely. I love them. I just love doing it. It just fits. I feel like it's right for somebody to be doing it, and I get very wound up when people do videos on Pleasure Island that are quite just quick videos trying to describe the history. They haven't put the effort in like me. I don't do a video with the whole history in it because I don't want to, just simply because there's too much.
Yeah.
There's too much history.
I've done 2 videos on Pleasure Island.
Yeah.
But they were kind of, there wasn't about history. There was more about little bits about what the park was.
Just,
if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I don't do things like that. The only thing I do like that has been what do you call it? Bloody. I used to do a lot of videos which were I used to make some people really upset with them, but they were not in a bad way, just in a sad way.
Yeah.
I used to upload a lot of videos of old footage, and then I'd edit them together with a really sad song in the background. A lot of the videos that I've put music in, some of that music I have listened to, and I do listen to still.
Mm.
I would say I wish certain videos on my channel had more views, just simply because, especially that video of Inside the Tinkerbell ride after it closed.
Yeah.
I wish that had got more recognition, just because nobody else has done that.
Yeah, I kind of get like that with some of my videos as well, because there'll be a video which I put lots and lots of effort into and spend hours editing and stuff like that, and then it'll get about 10 views. Then a video which I just put together in about 10 minutes will get a couple of hundred views, and it does get really frustrating with stuff like that.
Yeah, it wasn't really to do with the editing, it was just to do with the actual effort that I had to put in. I had to convince my mum and my gran that I could have half a day off to go do it. So they had to lie to my school and say I was off to the dentist.
Yeah.
Or the doctors or something, because I was literally, I just put my foot down and said, sorry, but I need to do this. This is just, I've been saying about this for ages, and it's finally happening. You can't say no. You said no to the first auction, even though you had said yes. You can't mess this up for me this time. So they agreed, and my gran came and picked me up, and I am glad that I did it. It was very sad for me, and that night I really didn't get much sleep just because it was so horrific in there, because it's unrecognisable apart from certain little things, and I was just thinking nobody else is going to get to go back in there, but I really want to go back in again because there's so much stuff left.
Yeah, but when did the carousel building get ripped down? Because I've seen a video about that on your channel, and
that's not been ripped down. It's just we smashed through the front doors to get the carousel out, because the door, a full panel of the side of the carousel building is meant to open up.
Yeah.
But it's completely jammed shut now due to its age.
Yeah. Because you said quite a while back that after that auction, no one will be able to get into Pleasure Island Family Theme Park like the general public. But if that was filmed recently, then how did you get footage from that?
I'm the only person that's been in since, really, apart from a few other people. I was the last person to lock up the food court. I got to go in there, and I was the last person in there. And apart from obviously the people that go get streaks filmed now, I don't know if that's gone yet. That might be gone now.
Have you not tried to contact anyone about that?
I'll go in. If I go to McCormack's, I'll go inside and I'll ask him about it.
Yeah.
Simple, really. But it's just shocking to think that. I was the last person that was allowed in, and I got to stand there and lock up the thing with them, and I got to take what was left in there, and that was it. The only other people that have been in are people that have broken in, which I don't agree with. It's nice to see it again, obviously. I would love to go in and just have one last walk round, but I've done my footage now, really, with that, and I got the best. In my opinion, it's some of the best footage that's out there now, because it's just that was the last time anybody's allowed in non-illegally, and I had all the time in the world to do it. I didn't get much footage, but the photos I got were really outstanding from anything else I've really done.
Yeah. What was Pleasure Island's slogan? Because On their 2016 map, which I'm looking at right now, it says "Discover the Magic" on the front of it. Then when you actually open up the map, it says "Find yourself in a world of adventure."
They had find yourself in a world of adventure, discover the magic. What the hell? I can't remember what else there is now. Whenever I'm sat in my room, people ask questions on Facebook and things like that, and I just go over to the maps and things like that and look.
Yeah.
Because I obviously can't remember everything. I'm currently actually writing a book on, not a book on Pleasure Island, a book on the Tinkerbell ride. Because, I mean, Pleasure Island as a whole, yes, I absolutely love it. It's my favourite thing. But I do especially love the Tinkerbell ride. That was what I grew up with. And especially, I love Little Monsters as well, Flamingo Land. And it's sad whenever... They're doing work to that at the moment.
Are they?
Yeah, they've been doing work to it.
They're also adding a 10 inversion, basically a newer version of Colossus at Flamingo Land, aren't they?
I've seen that. I'm happy for that, to be honest. I'll be going down and seeing it when it opens, because, that's just something that I would like to do.
Because Flamingo Land, I'm not saying that they're not a good park, but I've seen videos on it, and I've thought that it's kind of a mess where
It's not themed at all, really.
It's an amusement park in my eyes.
Things. But you don't go to Flamingo Land for theming. You go to Flamingo Land for the ride selection, because the rides they have there are really good.
What, like Hero?
No, not Hero, but everything other than Hero, I would say is absolutely... The flat ride selection's quite nice. They've got a lot of stuff like kiddie ride things, and their dark ride, that one dark ride they've got is really nice.
Yeah.
They've got it's Discover the Magic. Just Discover the Magic, and then obviously in some of the old advertisements they used to put "Don't you wish you were here" and things like that.
Yeah. How come they had more than one slogan? Because
there was also at the start there was the East Coast Great New Theme Park. That was one of them.
Would they did they have more than one slogan, or did they kind of change them over time? So like at Paulson's Park they had "It's a hoot hoot" at Paulson's Park as their old slogan, then they updated it to their newer slogan. Is it kind of like that with Pleasure Island?
They change it a lot all the time. They used to change it because they used to change it with the new logo or the new design. There was the Discover the Magic era of the park, which is my favourite era.
Yeah.
And then there's the 1993 to 1990, I think it was to 1995, the latest, which was the East Coast Great New Theme Park era, which was... It wasn't brilliant, but it was all right. I mean, It's just the low. It was when the park was a bit of a mess because they didn't know what theming they were doing. Because everywhere was themed, but it was all themed differently, so you couldn't really tell what kind of theme park it was. It was areas, but nothing that would link together. If you get what I mean.
Yeah.
But they had that. And then obviously the newest era, which was kind of a clean, fresh era where they were doing a lot of work with the buildings and things. Not really any investment majorly, apart from, and they had like an era where the maps were all covered in stars and things. That's quite a nice era. I liked when they had all the stars and everything, but they went for this kind of really clean look in 2016, 2015, and 2014, and not 2013. They went for like a kind of a cleaner look, and it just doesn't. I don't really like it as much.
With the map design of the actual map of the theme park, I don't really. I think that really they should have made it more cartoony because it looks quite outdated. The actual map and the design of all the pictures.
Trust me, the map, the 2016, 2015, 2014. Only one of those is 2015 that I like because of the colour, but the rest of them. All the other maps are really nice, especially the 1999 map. The 1999 year map, that is an absolutely amazing map.
Have you seen the Paulson's Park map design of like the recent ones of how it's all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pleasure Island didn't want to do anything like that, just simply because they didn't have enough roller coasters to do that. Because it's the same as Alton Towers, where the roller coasters kind of stick up from everything else. The only two roller coasters they had was was Boomerang and Thingy, and then a little Go-Gator.
Yeah.
Because they'd gotten rid of all the others, so
Yeah.
there was no point of really having one like that.
Doesn't Drayton Manor kind of have like a similar map style with the actual theme park map?
I haven't seen Drayton Manor's map, but probably.
Yeah,
But,
it's quite similar. It's quite dull as well, in my opinion. It doesn't make you look at it and think, and it doesn't stick out.
Yeah. In some ways, though, I am glad that they didn't have loads of roller coasters at Pleasure Island. That was bad because it closed down, but the way that Pleasure Island looked was different from everything else in the world. It was just, you couldn't find that look anywhere else. And the feel, there's Pacific, when you walked around, each area had a Pacific smell. Not because they wanted it to smell like that. When you went to Africa, it had kind of an oldie kind of smell. And then when you went to Streetsville, I think they had smell pods in there, I'm not sure.
They probably did.
But they had, I'm not sure, but I can't be sure, because I didn't see any when I was in there. But I'll have to ask the park about it.
I expect they did, because quite a few dark rides have that. For example, the Gruffalo River Ride Adventure and Ring on a Broom, A Magical Journey, and stuff like that.
I actually do have the original smells from the Tinkerbell ride.
Yeah.
I have one of the proper smell pods. It's all worth about £1,500.
How much did you pay for it? Did you pay that much for
it?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Did you pay up to £1,000 for it then? Or was
no, I paid £20 for it.
Oh. Would you be selling any little tubes of it or anything like that?
No, but the company that make it do sell little tubes of it if you want to just smell them. But from what I know, from what they told me, I've got the better ones just because of how the age they are. It's when the company was in it's called Dale Air Products on there. They've changed to Aroma Prime.
Yeah, I'm following Aroma Prime on Instagram.
They don't do anymore. Sorry?
I'm following Aroma Prime on Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. But I've got I've got all that. But again, those specific smells for places like the arcade was it had like a sweaty smell in there, which was a bit disgusting. But then when you went further down, you would at the Tinkerbell, you could sometimes. I can remember one time when you walk into the queue line, you can start smelling the sweets.
Yeah.
And then after the sweets, you go into if you go to Morocco, you could smell fish and chips and donuts and popcorn. There was always a smell of food. And then with the carousel, it was quite musky in there. But
Is it a bit like how...
a nice smell.
It's a bit like how when you go to the fun fair, it smells of cotton candy and stuff like that.
Yeah, basically. But it wasn't as predominant.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a really fatty smell, because the food there it wasn't the best, but it was all right. I mean, they had all right food. It was just very cheap.
I've heard that with their food, it was a bit because Coaster Crazy and Theme Park Worldwide said that. Well, Sean said that his dry hot dog was very nice. But Q-Line Media reckons that their burgers are like really cheap fairground burgers, which don't get me wrong, they're not. Yeah. And
they are.
And he said that their coffee was lovely, but he would have preferred a more general coffee.
All the coffee at the park was Costa coffee. It was proper coffee at the park. Everything that they did like that was nice. It's just that the food was... They had to buy funfair food in because that's the most money they could make off of it. Because each burger would probably cost them 10 pence to make, and they'll be selling them for £3. And that's just how they got the money in.
Yeah.
See, with because the beauty of Pleasure Island was that like Sean says, you could not do everything at Pleasure Island in one day.
Yeah.
There's just so many rides, and I know they're all flat rides, but you can separate out, because you go, if you want to do a lot, then you go on one thing. You can ride on one thing. The beauty of it was you could ride on one thing multiple times and you wouldn't have to queue up.
Yeah, Paulton's Park
it just wasn't
do
busy.
that. Paulton's Park do that, and nowadays Paulton's Park do get more busy, but you can still, if there isn't any queues then they have a policy where they'll let you stay on the ride. So, like, if you're on the log flume, then they'll the Raging River ride, they'll let you stay on it and stuff like that.
I'm not on about that. At Pleasure Island, you had to get off, but you could just go straight round. You could literally hop over the fence into the queue line again and get straight back off.
That's Thailand, that Bream theme park, to go on the Magic Mouse, because I kept on going around on that, and I went on that probably about 10 times in one day.
I can remember the Tinkerbell ride. I marathoned that with my family 30 times in a row.
Oh my god.
I loved it in there. That was always my favourite thing. And I can remember they sold it in the auction. They had a gobstopper machine. You would buy a gobstopper for 20 pence, and we would always get one. Always.
Was they big gobstoppers?
The massive ones. It's just, I don't know, to be honest. There's a lot of the rides there. Most of it you couldn't find anywhere else in the UK, which is and also a nice thing. It's just that you couldn't. The public don't really care about that, because if it looks remotely similar, they'll just go, "Oh, yeah, same thing." I'm going to go to Alton Towers and say, spend an extra £40, you can get. You go in there and you've got Nemesis instead of the Boomerang.
The general public quite often say that all theme parks are the same, and that if there's the same type of ride that you get the same experience, but you don't.
Yeah.
And they don't understand, and they think that if the track, they think that all roller coasters are the same and stuff like that, but they're really not.
See, with me, I prefer the feeling of Pleasure Island to Alton Towers, because it's more of a family-friendly... Because it was... I mean...
Alton Towers, I think, will get more of that vibe now that they're owned by Legoland, which, of course, is a family company.
Not really. But they're very corporate, and everything's done properly, whereas Flamingo Land and Pleasure Island... Like, you would never see... Like, Flamingo Land with Sean Sandbrook's thing... They would never stop the ride just because somebody had gone to the toilet.
Yeah.
But they did it there because they're not bothered. Alton Towers have a policy where they have to get as many riders through, for the whole day. And if there's downtime, then it could mean bad things, and they don't want to be in the news all the time for downtime and things like that. Well, that's not how Pleasure Island was. They were run by families, for families, to do just for fun. It was nothing serious. There was nothing serious about the park. Alton Towers is very serious with its theming as well, because the theme is meant to give you a very serious feel.
Yeah.
Which is how it's meant. I mean, I like Alton Towers loads. It's just that I preferred. Pleasure Island was it was that family. It was that theme park down the road that your nan would take you to every now and again. It wasn't anything that you would come from miles away for. And that's how it should have been.
Yeah.
Because if people were coming from everywhere, it would have been completely different. It was always better when it was quiet, because the park is very open. It's a lot bigger than you think it is. It's a lot bigger than a lot of people think it is. And they fit so much in such a... Even though I say it's big, it's not that big. But they fit so much in. There was I think they had 47 rides, one being out of order, and then Voltaire being down all the time. They had 47 rides.
That is quite a lot.
Loads.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's absolutely loads. And when you count them all up, and you count up how much money you paid to go in, people used to say it was overpriced. It's always been £20. Never been over.
Yeah, and there's also a save up to £10 voucher inside of a 2016 map. So sometimes
all the maps would come with that, and you could get you would obviously be able to save money for it. If you want to know more about Pleasure Island, and not just because I don't do the research into it's a ride, it's manufactured by this and it's done by that. I like to do more of I do that as well. There's a whole page on my website just devoted to that.
What is your website link?
Yeah, I prefer it to... the park was a family thing. I prefer to do the family thing with my stuff. I make it very family friendly. it's got, I've had kids come round and look at everything, and they were absolutely gobsmacked because they would look at something and go. I can remember one of the little girls that had come over with their family had looked at the toffee head and was crying because they remembered where it was, and they was like, "Yeah, but why is it here now? It should be open. Why is it here?" And it's just such a. It was just such a thing. It was so memorable, and it gets a lot of people very sad when you mention it.
Especially like Tommy Tinkerby's Sweet Adventure, and it was a very popular ride at the park.
That was the most popular ride by far. Even though they had the boomerang and everything. I mean, the boomerang was popular, but Tinkerby was always that thing. It was the hidden gem of the park.
Yeah, I think that one of Pleasure Island's flaws was that their major coaster that was that they're saying was their staple ride
was a boomerang.
and that was the same throughout the park's lifetime. So I do think that was maybe one of the reasons why it closed. They wasn't updating it. Even if they just added one ride in like 2011-ish, that could have saved the park, in my opinion, over Shrieksville when added. Well, then again, Flamingo Land paid for that, didn't they? But a coaster would have saved them, in my opinion.
There was an idea for a new coaster.
Was there?
Yeah. They were going to remove the boom. They put planning permission in to remove the boomerang, and it was going to span. It was going to be an inverted coaster, a bit like, I think it was going to be like Tornado. It was going to be massive, and I mean absolutely massive.
That would have been good for the park.
Yeah, but the only problem is they would have had to get rid of the boomerang, and they wouldn't have that major coaster. They would have had, I think, Crazy Loop and everything would have been there at the time though.
Yeah.
But they put planning in, and they were gonna. It was going to be where Volta was and everything, and that was called off because
made the park a lot better.
The park actually. One last thing, the park actually were the first company to actually invent the water coaster. They could have built a water roller coaster. They designed it and they had the plans for it. It's just they didn't build it. Yep.
That would have been really cool.
Now. Oh yeah, they would have. It would have put them on the map, and they would have had more money to do things, and they would have They had so much land left to expand into. It was unreal. Yeah. Because they had next door, and even after next door, they had. They would use that as a car park, but they had land behind the park as well, where the marsh is.
Yeah.
So the park, it was just mainly money problems. That was the only thing that was keeping them down.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Well, a few things, but that was the main thing, and that was the thing that would always keep them down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right. Yeah. So I'll probably end the live stream here. I will have your link to your channel in the description, and I will also pin it to the comment section, so do go and subscribe to Theme Park Tinkerbell, everybody. And I hope they enjoyed it. Bye guys.